The most important thing to bear in mind as you supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and our idiom today is bear in mind. Now, we've talked about this one actually this year. We talked about it in March. I'm not sure where my notebook went. We talked about it in March, end of March, actually, March 30th, and when we were working on the thinking aspect of our brain, of our challenge, of the annual challenge. And so we talked about to keep in mind or to bear in mind. Well, to bear in mind, I prefer, because I'm a fan of teddy bears. I used to have a teddy bear collection. I kind of stopped doing it as the kids got older. I had lots. I don't even remember how many bears I had, but I gave them all to Goodwill, except for, of course, a few of my favorites, and they still surround me because they make me smile. So bear in mind, what is the most important thing, absolute positive, number one most important thing you want to bear in mind as you're growing and building and supersizing your business? Now, of course, it might be different for each and every one of us, but when I am wanting to remind myself why the heck I'm doing something, say we're having a bad day or a bad week, or we lost a customer, or we lost a strategic partner or something, or one of our vendors. I had a vendor that committed suicide, and he was, one of my favorite vendors in my Italian food manufacturing business. And it was not only personally but professionally devastating. It took us, we didn't miss a beat. We found other suppliers, but I had such a good relationship with this particular vendor that I didn't have immediate backup supplies. Now, of course, just like everything else in business, we figure it out, but it was definitely a loss that was felt by everyone that did business with this person. And so we never know, right? We never know exactly what's going to happen. So what is the one thing that I keep in mind? And then you have to answer this question for yourself. I always keep in mind my why I'm doing something, my intention, my what I'm creating, right? That's my vision. But why am I doing this? Why am I in this particular business? Why am I adamant and passionate and committed to going all in and creating a certain type of business or organization in the world? I like to say, be the example that you want to see in the world and create the type business that you want to see other people create in the world. It's an awesome, powerful thing to be the example and set an example for other people. But when in doubt, I think about my why. There's all kinds of other things that are critical to our business. We need to measure things. We need to know where we're going. We need to communicate. We need to have systems and processes. We need to do all these things. But bottom line, if we're not committed and we don't know why we're doing something, no one else is going to understand why we're doing it either. And so that's just kind of the number one ground rule of leadership. Know your why. Share your why with people, especially people that are helping you to build your business. So we could go into the whole history of bear in mind. It actually dates back to the 1300s, and keep in mind, bear in mind. To bear something or keep something in mind comes from 1530. I think it was first probably recorded or used in some shape or form. But we talked about, I think last time I talked about this, we talked about 3 important things to keep in mind. And one was, see, I wrote them down because I actually went back and listened to that video before I decided to do this one again, because there's lots of videos or lots of idioms that could speak to the topics that we're doing in this year's annual challenge. I'm asking 2 questions every day in December, and one was about, would you want to remember absolutely every detail of your life? Why or why not? And the second one was, how would you describe the idea of color? So I thought, memory, total recall, remembering things, and then what's important to remember is how I got to bear in mind. And I looked up what are different idioms about memory or remembering things, and there was like 7 or 8 that Google gave me a list of, and I'm like, all right, we've covered all of them. I think we've covered all of them. So what's one? And I wasn't positive until I Googled myself and Supersize Your Business and found that, yes, indeed, on March 30th, I covered bear in mind. And we talked about 3 things to keep in mind as you're building and growing your business. And you can always go back and watch that. But it was, we want to be top of mind for the people, our ideal customers, and the people we're here to serve. We want to keep track of what's important for us, and we want to remember that our results show us everything we need to know, right? If our results aren't what we want them to be, then we need to change something. And sometimes all we have to change is our thinking about something in order to change our results. And sometimes it's that easy, but we try to overcomplicate everything in business. So that's it. I would love to know the number one thing to you. What's the most important thing to you to remember or keep in mind and bear in mind as you're growing and building and supersizing your business. Share in the comments below. Any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day.